everybody. This is Marilyn Almodovar, and as you know, I do a series of author interviews. And today I have a very special lady who has interviewed me a few times, so I'm a bit nervous. Her name is Michelle Cornwell-Jordan. She hails from Texas, and she's an awesome writer of young adult and steampunk, which is very hot at the moment. So, how are you, Michelle?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Marilyn. I'm excited and I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start a little bit with when was the first time that you actually thought that you wanted to write a book, and if you remember the name of the book and the story of it.
Oh, sure. Well, I've always wanted to write ever since I was a little girl, and I would write in pieces and fragments. But I really became serious in 2011. And with that, at that time, I had just finished watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I watched it on Netflix, all 8 seasons. And I've loved the show. But I was thinking, since Buffy, we haven't had a Slayer. So Angel came into my mind. It was Night School Vampire Hunters trilogy. So that was my first serious completed undertaking in 2011.
All right, and how since that was the question I had about Vampire Hunter, Night School Vampire Hunter. I know I should say that. Sorry. Yeah, the series. One thing that when I started reading the book, it threw me a little bit because you wrote like a blog style kind of post
Yes.
when she's reminiscing about things, and I was like, this is brilliant. Like I really got into it because it was different. How did you think about? Did you think about it? Did you plan it that way, or did Angel just said, okay, this is how we're gonna write it? Angel is the main
Well,
character.
yes. Angel was my main character, and actually, I think at the time, because of blogging and just that was what I was doing a lot, and I think it was just that medium was fresh in my mind and it was hot in my mind. And I just said, I had seen many different teen stories with the diary entries, the diaries. And I said, what about she's a blogger? And that's just how it happened. So I think maybe Angel was whispering in my ear and planted that seed in my head, and it just went from there. Um, and I enjoyed writing it that way. I think it was fun to do, but I think it did take readers off guard at first. So I had some mixed reviews about it, but for the most part, it was positive. They liked the style once they got used to it. So
Yeah, well, it was a cool thing because it's not something that you see a lot. I don't know in other genres, but like in young adult, I hadn't come across a book that had that
yes.
style of post, inside of the story. And it was great
Hmm.
because you get to see another side of the character that perhaps in the narrative of the story you couldn't see. So I really
Right.
like that. Um,
Thank you.
so I know you're done with that series because the last book was Redemption, right? Do you think you'll revisit sometime in the future?
Um, oh my goodness, I'm going to tell you that was 3 years. I invested many years in that. I love that series, and with we did so many photo shoots, and we even wanted to do a web series, and it just didn't pan out because I was trying to do the video recording. But I do play with the idea of going back for the web series. I do. I need to. I'm working against time because the models they're getting a little older. My daughter, Brianna, she was Angel in the photo shoots and the covers, and Raphael was played by a friend, a family friend. And to be honest, they're still they're perfect right now. So I have played with the idea of returning for web series. And actually, I've had someone recently ask me, well, are you going to turn it into a web series? So I'm looking at that. I'm going to be honest because I love that. I'm going to be. I think I liked it almost more than it didn't take off the way I thought it would, but I still believe in it. I still think it's a good story. I think Angel and all the gang are great characters. And so I'm going to get their story out there. So yes,
They
I
are
am.
good.
But
That's
I'll have a
really good
professional
though.
videographer.
I'm gonna hound you now.
Please do.
um, can you tell us which authors influence your work?
What authors? Oh my gosh, I read so many different authors. I'm going to be honest. And it's so hard for me to pinpoint. There's so many great. I read so many great independently published authors, and you. I love yours. I love your series, and I just and Rains. I love Rains. But if you're saying when I was growing up, I would say it was those like Judy Blume, or as I got older, I Jude Devereaux, and all the great Gothic romance writers. Because at that time, romance, I read a lot of romance, but it still had to have some type of mystery or ghost or something. Um, so I'm going to say all the Gothic writers out there. You know, the heavy. It had a big house on in the back, and a girl flying with her wig in her hair. I was all on that book. I loved it. Um, so I think, and the classics, you know, Wuthering Heights, and Pride and Prejudice. I love all of those, and so that is what I still go to if I'm doing just free reading, and just whatever catches my eye. I go on Amazon or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I like that. Right now, Tanner Reeve Dew. Her name is Tanner Reeve Dew. She has a awesome supernatural story, a series, and it's wonderful. And it's about Ethiopian. They're Ethiopian. It's an Ethiopian sect, and they're causing all kinds of mayhem and confusion. And I loved it. I love that series. So I don't have a favorite. I somewhat go around. So.
And I'm guessing you're also an Edgar Allan Poe fan because you had a
I love Poe. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was in school, we read Poe here and there just for class, and I liked it. But it wasn't until recently when I had to go back into reading more Poe, because I've also started writing into steampunk, and so that's really helped me to go back into more of the classics, because I know many of them were created in the 1800s or whatnot, and we just take those stories and we punk them out. Punking them out means, added some type of science or gadgets or changing history somewhat. But I love Poe, and I'm thinking, how is it I did not just eat this up when I was in high school? But his writing, it was just everything so angst feel, and everything's so deeply felt, and that is what I like in my writings. Even though I haven't been reading a lot of just pure romance. I love romance threaded in. I love romance threaded in, but he's just has this darkness to his writing, and there's this pain, because he was just a very, I think, not disturbed, but he has so much pain in his everyday life, and we celebrate him as a classic, but he and others that we love today, at that time they saw no success. They weren't given these accolades. So he was feeling, from what I've read, as if he had failed, and then his love had died, and so that pain was in his writing, and I think that caused me. I'm a little weird. I tend to like dark things in my reading taste, and that's showing. I love and I love. I'm into steampunk now, and so um, the dark. I do like more of the dark tales, and so he's really one of my favorites. So you're right. Love Poe.
All right. And how have you found it? Because I know you've done several anthologies with other
Yes.
authors. How have you found the process? Do you all get together and discuss what you would like to publish together? Do you have to follow a certain guideline for what you're about to read? Not read, right? How is the process when it comes to anthologies with the other authors?
Right. My first experience really was with the awesome Catherine Stoll. She's with Christian Hearts Black Butterfly. And it was so well, just organized. And basically, she gathered us all together, and we, because by this time we knew that whatever our story was, it was accepted. And so then from there, it's just the process. We've already written the stories. We already, wrote according to that theme. We're just coming together on how to present it to the world. They take care of the covers. The covers are already taken care of. So basically, at this point, we're gelling together, saying, okay, guys, this is what's in our book. So right here in our book, um, this is how we're going to present it to the world in whatever marketing way there is. And I think it makes us feel more like a family and a team. I'm also in the fabulous Writer Punk. Oh my gosh, they are such a great group, the Writer Punks. Actually, there is an anthology that I've included. It's a pop-punk inspired. Me and Annabelle Lee is my story, and it's based on Annabelle Lee, his poem. I punked that one out, and it's coming out May 31st. And this group, they're awesome, guys. You need to go and join the Writer Punks on Facebook. They're fun. They were welcoming to everyone. Seriously, you need to go hang out, guys. Go, just send an invite. And same situation. Leah Reese, she is the designer for the Poe anthology, and you'll see it's merely this and Poco's Punk, and she does the cool covers and she does the cool videos. And so now we just got together and we're putting together a Facebook event and a thunderclap. And what's so awesome about this anthology, all the proceeds will go to Paul's up there in Washington, where our leader Jeffrey Cooks, he is residing. And so every copy we sell, all of it goes to Paul's, and I think that's what makes it awesome too. So yes, it's just bringing us together, and that's pretty much the process. Because at this time they post it, you see it, you write the story, it's either accepted or whatever the case may be, and then after that it's just coming together as a team. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. I'm sorry.
All right. And I had another question before we talk about tormenting. When can we expect the second book of I'm going to say this the wrong way as well. World of Beta Band series, because I read recently and I want to know when is the second book coming out.
Oh my goodness, Chrysalis. Yes, Chrysalis. That was my first foray, guys, into epic fantasy. My first NaNoWriMo project. And so here I am, a novice at joining NaNoWriMo. If you are unaware, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, November. You commit to writing a 50,000 word piece within 30 days. I never did it before. I had never done it before. And so here I am. I wanted to write this epic fantasy, build this world, and I loved it. I love Aida, and I loved Adrian. And so I did do that, and I had so much fun with them. But I was learning. It was a learning process, I'm going to be honest. And, there was some mixed reviews. And because it went through several read reviews on Goodreads, and there were some that I took as very, constructive, and I knew I had more to learn. So I had stopped at that point. I stopped where I was, and I went more into joining the writing group and taking classes and learning to improve my craft. And that was the book that prompted it. So now that I feel like I'm easing back into writing, I'm ready to write a new series. I have some books in mind, but that would be down the line. I've left poor Adrian and Aida out there in in the woods somewhere, and so I do need to get them out.
Yes. I really want to know what happens next. It's
Thank you.
selfish reasons, but you went from vampires to the world of chrysalis, and then you start writing steampunk.
I
How
know.
was that process? How did you go? I know how we go, but I want whoever is watching this to understand. Like authors' minds are weird, but for you, how do you go from vampires to the world of chrysalis to steampunk, and then obviously Poe? And then,
Hmm.
were you part of the? I don't know if you were part of the Shakespeare as well, the Shakespeare book.
No, I wasn't part of that one.
No,
Right. I
okay.
helped
Well, and
promote.
then fermenting, which has nothing to do, as far as I know, has nothing to do with the
Right.
previous book. So how
With
do you do
with
that?
any of the other genres.
Yeah.
Well, with the vampires, paranormal has always been a staple with me. Um, as I was saying, in the Gothic romances, they're paranormal in nature. With anything that has a ghost or supernatural event, paranormal. So that was always a staple. So that was my night school vampire hunter. Um, it wasn't until I came out and became more into the writing community, I was beginning to be exposed to various types of writings. And so I was seeing different types of fantasy, come up. And I thought that was just interesting. And for whatever reason, the idea, not the characters, but a world where, because I like rain. I love rainy days. I could live in England or Seattle or anywhere where it rained constantly. But I live in Texas, and no offense to any Texans, hey, I'm right there with you, but it's dry and it's hot. So
Yeah.
I think what I was expressing at that time was the two sides of myself. The world in my mind. What if the thought came in my mind? What if there was a world where in one half it rains only, the other half is sunny or whatnot. So for whatever reason, that world came into my mind. Now, then you bring in Ayida. Ayida is she's not completely human. She's more part at that time. She would be considered an automaton in steampunk. She's a droid, but at that time, I did not know that terminology. I just said she was part machine. And so that was my first inklings, I believe, of steampunk right there. Well, not really because it's more fantasy, but it was dystopian. And so I enjoyed the world building. And she came into my mind fully formed, and Adrian and all of that, they just told me who they were, and we just started from there. So I always loved paranormal. That was my hunter. A yeet of them came from my just seeing it and being exposed to more fantasy. Now my steampunk, that was fake. I had at that time. I told you this was around the time I just said I'm going to stop writing for a while. I'm just going to focus on my craft. But I wanted to write something, and I saw the anthology advertisement for a short story, but it had to be steampunk. I really wasn't sure what steampunk. So if anyone ever reads The Others, which is the first steampunk I wrote, Tales of the Fairy Volume 2 anthology, it's set in a dystopian world, dystopian, similar to what was going on with Aida. But I put in, it was Jacqueline E. Garlick. Oh my goodness. Fabulous
Love
writer.
her. Okay.
Please go to her. Yes. Yes,
It's
yes, yes.
okay, Lumiere.
She, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Lumiere. Those books, oh my gosh, Marilyn, they brought what steampunk meant to me.
Mhm.
Those were the books that caused me to fall in love with steampunk. I entered the world in a happy accident in it, but it wasn't until I read her books that I fell in love with it. And so I wanted to write more. And that's when I actually wrote Race for the Moon. It's a children's, it's more of a children's or tween steampunk story, and it's set in the dystopian world because I still needed to have that freedom. Because many may not realize that with steampunk, you can do traditional, very traditional, and it's, it's more alternate history. You're tweaking history somehow, but it's very traditional. It's in England or it's in many times New York or somewhere, but they're staying very pure to those events. Mine tend to be more of that Western type, where they're out in a more Western area or dystopic area. It's got the fantasy mixed in, and that's where I tend to stay because it's a little bit more freedom. I could stretch a little bit more. But well, I have been, and so that is how I got there. Now, Tormenton was actually a book I wrote way before any of this. It was around the beginnings of night school. It was just a short that I wrote, and it's a mix of the paranormal. It's a throwback to my love for paranormal, and but it's Southern Gothic because I love this. If anyone has ever read V.C. Andrews, that's more of the Southern Gothic, that Southern, the family. There's always a big house. There's a family. There's some kind of, really breakdown in society, or just something bad, happening with amongst the family. And I've always liked that, but I've always grouped that with my paranormal. But that Gothic, I've always loved the Gothic, always. And so all of that's the same. It's just it's more. I call it a Southern Gothic tale. So what's and so that's to answer your question before I go off into something else. But
Yeah.
I am going to actually combine the Southern Gothic and steampunk in the future in my new series Sepions. That's actually in Tormenton. I kind of veered off, and it's pure Southern Gothic because this is something I wrote previously. But the series that's coming from it, steampunk is going to be added back into it. So I'm bringing the two together. Okay.
And I really
So
like that you're doing more Western steampunk because what we usually see
yes,
is Victorian or
yes.
is it Diesel, the one that is from World War II?
Yes, Diesel. Yes.
So I've seen those, and to me, I mean, I was born in Arizona. I want to see stuff with cowboys and
Yes. Yes.
futuristic stuff, but cowboys, you know. So I really like
Cowboys.
when I get to the Western steampunk, which is, also it's American stuff, so we can relate to it, and I think
It's a little bit
people
easier
should
to
write about
understand.
it. Yeah. All right, and
And I would say anybody that wants to dip their hands in, try Weird West. Though if you are not into the strong, strong Western, whatever, try Weird West, and that is like a steampunk, and it's mixed and they have zombies and stuff.
oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I'm thinking because
I have to think about that.
there's not any good westerns out there, but I'm not gonna say that there are, but it's hard for me to just read a traditional western. But Weird West, that's taking you're punking it out. Is basically what it is. And there are different types of punks, guys. There's the Weird West. There's Diesel. That's usually set between um Diesel is the 50s, somewhere in there, anywhere between the
Okay.
20s to the 50s. That's
Mhm.
the Diesel. And then there's Steam, and that's 1800s and earlier. Cyber, usually some type of government is taking over, and there's some individuals fighting against the government, and it's dystopian. Biopunk, that's same situation, but it's more they're creating droids or something from human DNA, things like that. So circus punk, I did that, and I love that. So there's so many different types of punks, and that's why I feel, to be honest, I could stay in the punk world and never really venture out. Um, and so I think punk is cruel, but yes, Weird West, guys. If you want a good weird tale, but you want a zombie coming through, go weird. So
So now we mentioned Jacqueline E. Garlic. Are there any other steampunk
yes,
authors who are influencing you at the moment, or that you're reading at the moment?
Oh my gosh, I just loved her so much. I love Erica Allaire as well. I love her work. She's another independent, well, small press, independently published, and I love her writing. Um, I'm trying to think, and the funny thing is, with when you go to a store, I actually went into the store, like a Barnes and Noble or somewhere, and I was looking for steampunk. You cannot find that just on the shelf. You literally, they have it in odd places. So a lot of the times that if you're reading, many times steampunk or any type of punk is mixed in with something you already know. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can't say just specific punk writers, but I like that style. I read a series and I'm bad at names, so that's what's bad about it too. I see the series in front of me. I see the books, but I can't tell you the name of the person. So that's a help. I'm sorry, guys. But I read a
I
lot of
totally
different
understand that.
authors.
I went to our local Barnes and Noble, which is always a problem when we go because they never know what we want. And
Yes.
they had actually put steampunk books in the history section,
Uh,
and we just, my son and
the
I,
fix.
just pointed and laughed and was like, this, this is not historical stuff, like
It,
this is big, goes over there with the young adults or with the
right
adult section. That's
there.
not history. But it was. There were two titles, and it was really funny because my son was the one who found it first, and he was like, "Look at this page!" Like, come on, Barnes and Noble.
It's
Um,
hard, because I've talked to some of the customer service people. You may find one that may know what steampunk is, and it's so new. But guys, steampunk has been around since like the '80s, and it's just been an underground type of you know movement, if you want to call it. But it's always been threaded through movies and music and so many different things. And now, I mean, Doctor Who, folks, you know,
yeah.
it's,
But I guess
well,
because it's
it's got elements. Let me put it that way. It's got the elements of punkery, and so and now, but now it's growing strong. I think it's made its way to the masses, and so it's become mainstream. So I'm wondering, but I believe it will remain. It will stay because you still have diehard steampunkers, and so it won't let even after maybe the interest has died down mainstream, it still will be there.
yeah.
Yes, and that's why I
So,
love it.
and can you tell us a little bit about your writing schedule?
Oh gosh, if I had one, seriously, it's so bad. Oh my gosh, I plot in my head. That's what I call it. It's probably more so daydreaming. But I, I will spend, when I'm ready to write, I will spend a day, weeks thinking about the plot, seeing the scene in my head, seeing the character doing whatever it is the scene calls for. But and this will go on for days, weeks. And then I will just finally sit down and then take a day and start writing it. And once I get it out, I will repeat that. I write in spurts, which is not good. I really want to get to the point where I can write every day, at least a little every day. But right now, I write in spurts. So that's pretty much it. And I get most of my books completed through Nano because I have to sit down. I have to write that 1667.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to really bring that into my everyday world outside of November. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better because it used to be a challenge to just make that much. But now I'm able to write it, but I spend so much time writing other things. So if you're saying creative writing, my books, it's in spurts. But I do other writing, the post and different things daily. But I think now I am going to at least strive for the 1667. So that's my goal, people. We'll see. That's
So
my goal.
you're sort of a hybrid of between plotter and pantser. Did you ever feel?
Yes. I don't do outlines. I had tried for years when I used to really want to write all the time. I would write in bits and pieces and I couldn't. I would work on the outline and I'll spend all my energy on the outline and I would freeze and couldn't get anything out. It wasn't until I did do that, until I did get into this community and I learned about pantsing and that it was actually okay to get everything out on the paper and work it out later. Once I learned that and was able to get past that inner editor, and that voice saying, this is so terrible. And it was, but I put it down anyway. And then was able to work now, know the process and cleaning it up. So now it's just more so time management. But I would say I'm a pantser. I'm a
Yeah,
you're right, I'm a planter. I'll plot and then I'll pant. So yes, I'm a planter.
pantser. That's a new
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Coins here. And do you think when you're writing and you're thinking about your scenes and do you change much of what you've been seeing in your mind when you write it down, or do you edit as you're writing down what you've been seeing in your mind, or do you just write it down and then wait for it to be edited when you're done with the book?
I used to, well, Chris, this is a good example. I wrote it all down and then I tried to come back and clean it up. And what happened is when I did that, I literally rewrote the book. So after that, I have tried to now at least make it clear enough. I mean, I'm just saying the grammatical things and everything and get it down. But pretty much what I've plotted in my head, I write it down. Literally, it's like I'm watching a movie and I see the scene so much, and that's what I put on the paper. Now, when I go back through again, that's the first draft. When I go back through again, to be honest, other than more cleaning up, nothing really changes. I literally plot it in my head. I literally daydream it. I see it, and that's what I put down, and it usually stays. It usually remains. So,
All right.
wow, I didn't realize that, but yes.
So I know your new book. Uh, I was gonna say it in French again.
No, say
Tormenting.
it. I love the way you say it.
Tormenting.
Say it.
Tormenting.
Yes.
Tormenting. But
Love that.
Tormenting came out. It was published April 27th, and it's
Yes.
available on Kindle through Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Um, it's through customer. Yes, all the retail platforms.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit about it? I'll leave a link with where you can get it from and in the
Okay.
description. So after
Okay.
this is done, I'll go back and edit and put all the links so you can follow Michelle as well on Twitter and Facebook. And she also has a great show in this book review where
Mhm.
she also interviews the author. So I'll leave all those links. But for now, can you tell us a little bit about the book and the setting of the book?
Okay. And yes, authors are rock stars, by the way, guys. I love it. Which torment, tormenting. And I love the way Marilyn says it a lot better than how my southern accent. But um, I wrote this back actually in 2012, 11, and self-published in 2012 originally. Um, and then it's been re-edited, recleaned, it was cemented, picked up, and tweaked, changed a little bit. But it basically just follows Seraphine Disbray. Well, yes, she's Melissa. It follows a young writer. She comes to New Orleans and she's at a writers' conference. She goes into this magnificent, beautiful, hotel, and but as soon as she arrives, she has this eerie feeling that she's been there before. While there, she learns of the history of this magnificent hotel, and then she begins to have visions of a man and herself and compromising, compromising situations, and she's feeling emotions and seeing events that she can't explain, and she also begins to feel a sense of danger. So where it's a very short novella. So basically, it's following her attempting to understand what is happening with her, and also on the other side, we're seeing the opposite side. We're seeing the man Emil, this Brett, and he's trapped in a alternate. Well, he's in another time. He's in the same. His time is parallel to the present, but he's unable. There's a barrier for him to get through, and he's trapped by his former lover. Her name is Isadora, and Isadora came to live with his family by the request of his father, and they were attempting to have another child, and Emil came. Isadora seems to be, supernatural. She's a mystery. She never ages. She seems to have these powers, and she's absolutely hopelessly in love with Emil. They did have a relationship, but when Seraphine came, things changed. So her revenge was to keep him, and so what happens? His wife, and this is not a spoiler. You will find this out. Melissa Seraphine, and so the whole story is taking place of them trying to come back together. Isadora is attempting to exact revenge because she's scorned. But there's more to her just being scorned. There's more to Isadora than that. I call it a Southern Gothic because it's dealing with a family that was in emotional straits. They made unwise decisions, and they brought in elements to their family that ultimately destroyed them. And just with the amount of angst and pain with all three individuals, I just felt that it had that feel. But in working with Crushing Hearts, Black Butterfly, I saw that this has the potential for because I have been in steampunk, and because I have, there were other elements I wanted to see in the story now, a series has been launched. And so eventually we're going to go back into 1811 and New Orleans, and so it will be an alternative history steampunk novel. So I'm going for Southern Gothic and making it steampunk with the Southern Gothic tang, and that's how writers do. We can pretty much just kind of make it work however we want. But that's pretty much how Tormented is, and I enjoyed writing it. I put every bit of angst I had in it, past boyfriends that I felt did me wrong. I've been married for 22 years, guys, but all that first love you have when all of it came into Isadora and into this situation, and so it was fun. It was very healing to get all of that out, and I had fun with it, and it did well. People had some good reports when it was self-published, but I don't believe the reach was far enough, and so that's why I resubmitted it for re-release, and I was surprised and delighted when it was picked up, and we'll see.
And how much fun was it to set it in New Orleans? I love writing stories in New Orleans.
Oh my gosh,
it has that vibe, right?
Yes. I'm going to be honest. That is most of my stories, as of right now, are in New Orleans. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this. Torment it originated. I took my husband for his birthday. We went on a trip to New Orleans, and we stayed in the Monteleone. And I'm probably saying it correctly, but it's a Monteleone. It's just gorgeous, historical hotel. Just beautiful. It really was. And guys, if you go to New Orleans, please go visit it or Google it. It's gorgeous. And it does have all these chandeliers, and it has all the pink and the green. It's just fabulous. It has this incredible carousal, a horse, in the bar section, and it's just, you're like, oh my gosh, and it's reported to be haunted, especially the seventh floor, and that's where we stayed. And we were told all these stories at the front desk about, it's haunted, and they were supposed it was supposed to be haunted by a little boy that had been separated about 100 years ago from his the parents, and the child died in it. I believe I can't remember all the stories, but it was haunted, and so those things are the same. I put that flavor in torment. But what happened is my daughter and my husband were there. He had went out to see more of New Orleans, but she and I stayed in. And the floor we were on was supposed to be haunted. But we were like, whatever. And as the night went on, at one point, we thought we saw, how, for whatever reason, you could see underneath the door. We thought we saw someone standing there. And we thought it was weird. We thought it was really strange. And at this, time had gone on, we'd eaten, so we knew it wasn't room service or anything like that. And we hadn't heard voices or anybody come up, but they were just standing there. And I could see the shoes. And I thought I was just tired and getting all wrapped up in whatever. And I thought it was my husband joking, because when I went to the door and I opened it, there was nobody there. I'm saying I saw the shoes and opened the door, but there was nobody there. But I thought maybe I didn't get to it. I thought, well, would I have had enough time to leave? I said, okay, I'm saying things, let it go. I did call my husband, because we thought we heard knocking, as the night was going on. It was getting later. And it was the whole, I don't even know where everybody else was, because it was so quiet in the hall. And I called my husband. I said, oh, just stop joking. He's like, what are you talking about? And I could hear where he was, the street. He was like, I'm nowhere near there. And then this is what clinched it, and I'm almost done, I promise you. We finally went to sleep. And I remember, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, you should have called Sam and Dean. Sorry.
Shut up.
At the moment. At the moment.
Where's those Winchester boys? But I know it's guys, Supernatural. Yeah, I'm a big fan. And so I would sleep. And I remember, because you've been in a hotel room and and I was asleep. But for whatever reason, I don't know if I was awake or asleep. You know how you get into that dream state where you're waking up, and I kid you not, and it wasn't because my family was behind me, so it was on this side, and I was towards the door side, and I thought I saw a man just standing there, but for whatever reason, instead of being afraid and screaming, but in my head, and I swear in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm dreaming. I'm still dreaming. But it was but the person was dressed in more old-timey, way. It had a black jacket and a white top, it was like unbuttoned. So but I had no fear, but I was a little bit, but in my mind, I felt I should be afraid. So finally, I woke up completely, and there was nobody there. So I'm so sorry, guys, it took so long to say that, but that is where the idea for tormenting really came from. No, it wasn't, Emil, but that whole feeling of somebody being there, and the flavor of the hotel, and the, New Orleans, there's a story. Everyone, it seems like every resident has a story. They can tell you about this street, something happened on this one, and they're willing to share it with you. We went into one of the used bookstores, and they'll stop and they'll sit down and chat with you about the ghosts and all the magic, and it's such a magical place. I love French Quarter. And I never get to see. I guess I'm going to keep coming back, because there's always so many new things. So yes, Torment has that flavor, and I also love the originals. I love the originals. The show, so that's set in New Orleans, and I have a crush on. Pretty much all of them. All of them. So yes, So that's giving me a renewed.
I think from your experience, you're a natural born hunter. So
I think
maybe
I
you
am.
will go.
Yes. See, and that's what it is, guys. Yes, that's why I try to write night school. I think I am a hunter, and Dean is saying, you need to come on. Let's get back down to the Monteleone.
Yeah. People will probably go like, "What is this
That's
person?"
right.
Supernatural, check it out. Anyway,
If you haven't, seriously, guys, that is awesome show. Love that show.
I love
So
it too.
yes,
That's why I
yes,
keep
yes.
tagging me and stuff on Facebook.
Yeah,
And my
no,
husband will
please,
know
I
me.
love
He's
it.
like, "Why do you keep on tagging her?" I said, "She understands.
Uh,
She understands."
please, yes, my Dean, and I'm a little bit behind, but then I'll gorge myself on it, and then I'll have this weight. And I remember I found Supernatural by happy accident. It had been out 8 years, guys. And then one day, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I saw all my shows and I saw it on Netflix. And I said, okay, I'll try it. After the first two show episodes, that was it. I binged watched it every minute until I made it through all 8 seasons. I love it. I love it. So, and I know so many
I mean,
people, they're like, I can't watch it. It's too scary. I'm like, it's so cool.
no, it's not. You're not
It's not
gonna cry at all.
scary. Yes.
I think that whole line when Dina shows up and says like that's in trouble
Yes.
or whatever it is. I think that was it. For me, it was like, oh, I'm gonna put it on. Jeffrey Morgan, whoa, because I didn't know. Well, I remember a little bit of the Internationals because I had seen Superman, no
Oh,
Smallville,
okay.
and I was like, oh, okay, and oh, there's this guy that I don't like Gilmore Girls, don't hate me. So I was just like, but that line, just that whole thing. I mean, it was just the loyalty from him to his dad,
Extreme.
and then going to
Yes.
get his brother to convince him to, and that was it. I was like, oh God, we're here 11 years later, watching.
11 years. Seriously. And I think that's what I love because they keep the focus on their relationship. I mean, yes, they've had girlfriends and they've had, the different things in and out, but it's all about the hunt. It's all about loyalty, family, and making things right. So I think that's why that show has lasted and will last until I think it'll be their
Oh,
decision
definitely. Yeah.
to leave and not us saying no, we don't want it anymore. I dread the day every time I wait to see if it's going to be renewed. I'm like, but
But
there we
it's really
go.
funny how they wanted to do only 5 series because that's what 50 had said, the creator. He said, oh, we'll do 5 series and that'll be it. But it
Wow.
just took a life of its own. And one thing I really like is that it's a show that focuses on men and men's relationships. It's most of the stuff
Yes.
focuses on us women, and men are
Yes.
not shown in a very good light. And even though sometimes Dean is not very clever or sounds doing silly things, it's just all those flaws that made them great, and they're not afraid of showing it. And
Right.
there's one thing that I really like when I pick up a book that has a male point of view. That's one thing that I keep looking for.
Yes.
And I'm like, I really want to see that because we have a lot of books for girls, and I
Mm-hmm.
really would like to see more books that are written that way for boys. Because like my son right now is a big comic book reader
Yes.
because he really
Oh,
likes it. So anybody out there, writers, write something for the boys as well. But
right.
yes,
That's probably why Harry Potter was phenomenal. Is phenomenal. We follow him, and you're right. There's not a lot of books with boy
yeah.
that I can think of with boy characters.
And I think Harry Potter was, I mean, it exploded, and it was just, I was thinking like, oh, we'll get something out of this massive series. We'll get something more for boys, but no, not so
Yeah.
much. And there are some books. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't, but
Right.
not at that level yet. Which write it and then call me and let me know. Just tell me. I was happy here. Anyway, Michelle, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me,
Thank
and
you.
good luck with the reviews. And I'm going to be reading that next week, so I'll have my review in the next few weeks
Well,
because I'm reading Cat Skin by Artemis Gray right now. So
Oh, cool.
after that, yeah, I don't know if you checked it out, but it's really. I mean,
I
I'm in
haven't.
love. I'm in love. She's a debut author. She's on Queen Reads, and her book's just wonderful. And it's not the traditional characters, which is what I like
Yes.
the most. So it's really it's very different. So I'm not gonna say anything else until I review it. But
Very
check
cool.
it out.
Gotta check that out. I know,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you so much for joining us, guys. This will be on YouTube, so head over there so you can see all of the links from Michelle Cornwell-Jordan's book and her amazing stories. Thank you so much. Bye.